with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Mordfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Vendetta Days. How beautiful of you. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is skor, and that also means elephant.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, c'est ça, ça, che c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça, sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Night. Fun. Yen. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bambas. Bamba, okay, Bambas is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile.
Sì, sì, ecco, la gente, è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo, io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi, dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io.
I buy a computer or what? Here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, what sounds vaguely like Hogun and the Hok in Hogun in Korean or Waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur sachant chasser, ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
Der dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt.
Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idiomas, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más.
Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos.
Oh, I see. This is Diche Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cine da boy. Posso Milao. Pote. Buenese. Proteine. Utros. Protopolo. In the designated chicken eating area, obviously.
Okay, still 3 times I have to defeat him. And I don't have a whole lot of health left.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Monsieur. Livre. Liwe, livre.
Paks,
Mustan kissan paksut posket.
Mathieu. Yeah. Si. Isopii. Macieje. Proč? Víte. Počkej. A. Si. Track 6.
Aspri petra xes aspri apton ilio xex asproteri. Aspri petra xes aspri apton ilio xes asproteri.
En coginio panas.
Oh boy.
Ferrad verda ferda vedri.
Jacob. Hefed.
Okay.
Hefed.
Okay.
Hefed. Hefed. Hek. Hek. Hek.
Саша по шоссе.
А Саша по шоссе несла сушку на счастье и сосала сушку. А Саша по шоссе несла сушку на счастье и сосала сушку.
Mwalimu.
This is Saturday. And it's from Muallim.
Juma ni mwalimu mke.
Ирак чимав чипах чемп чавю ченчи чини. Чирак чимав чипа да, чирак чимав чипцах чемп чавю ченчи чини. Бакакит альшит. Хикрин. Бакакит альши хикрин.
Oh, things to do with cat signs. Meow and the pictures of the fish. That's they were proud.
Sööper. Kupu. Yrittävä. Uraista. Omena.
Are in the city center. And it's got some interesting aspects to it.
여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까?
Countries or living things.
兄の名前は
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So, anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Lo que pasa es que bueno, la manera y esto se ve en tantos lugares, no es cuestión regional, sino más bien de un problema fundamental de la pedagogía oficial de los idiomas extranjeros, y que la manera en que se enseñan en tantos lugares, en las clases, en el colegio, no tiene nada que ver con el estado actual de la investigación sobre lo que se llama adquisición de idioma.
Doesn't, you can try something else.
In fact, I would say often you really know you're getting it with languages if you can't really explain why something's right, but you just bloody well know it's right.
Hi, and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Mot är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Benedese. Had a beautiful day. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squab, and that also means elephant.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, c'est ça, che c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça. Sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyperpolyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux. Surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nej. Come on. Igen. Ja. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bakvaz. Okay, Bakvaz is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile.
Sì, sì, ecco, la gente, è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo, io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi, dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io.
I buy a computer or what? Here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, but sounds vaguely like Hogun and the Hok in Hogun in Korean or Waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same Chinese character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur, sa chambre chassée, ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt.
Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idioma, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más.
Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos.
Oh, I see. This says Diche Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cocine da boy. Posso Milao. Pote. Buenas proteine. Protocolo. In the designated chicken eating area, obviously.
Okay, still 3 times I have to defeat him. And I don't have a whole lot of health left.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Messieurs. Livre. Liwe, livre.
Paks.
Mustan kissan paksut posket.
Mathieu. Pierre. C. Esopi.
Matěji. Proč? Inter. Počkej. A. Si. Track 6.
Aspri petra xes aspri apton ilio xex asproteri. Aspri petra xes aspri apton ilio xes asproteri.
En coginio panas.
Oh boy.
Ferra verda ferda vetri.
هقب هفد 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 حق حق حق
Саша по 6.
А Саша по шоссе несла сушку на счастье и сосала сушку. А Саша по шоссе несла сушку на счастье и сосала сушку.
Mwalimu.
This is Arabic. And it's from Mu'allim.
Juma ni mwalimu mke.
Ирак чима в чипах чемп чавю чи ченчи чини. Чирак чима в чипа да, чирак чима в чипцах чемп чавю и ченчи чини. Акакит альшит. Хикрин. Акакит альши хикрин. Акакит альши хикринепс.
Oh, thanks to cat sons. Meow and the pictures of the fish. That's they were proud.
Sööpä. Kupu. Yrittävä. Uraista. Omena.
Are in the city center. And it's got some interesting aspects to it.
여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까?
Countries for living things.
兄の名前は
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So, anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Lo que pasa es que bueno, la manera, y esto se ve en tantos lugares, no es cuestión regional, sino más bien de un problema fundamental de la pedagogía oficial de los idiomas extranjeros, y que la manera en que se enseñan en tantos lugares, en las clases, en el colegio, no tiene nada que ver con el estado actual de la investigación sobre lo que se llama adquisición de idioma.
Doesn't, you can try something else.
In fact, I would say often you really know you're getting it with languages if you can't really explain why something's right, but you just bloody well know it's right.
Hi, and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So, anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
還元一級の先というのは本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up, and it is time to pick another language.
Hello and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I'm Elise, translator of lost texts, writer and editor with 20 working languages, and this is the stream where we're going to be playing some chess, and we're going to be looking at language learning resources that may very well surprise you. Unless you've been watching this stream regularly, in which case they probably won't surprise you, but they're still very well worth your while. Okay, once I find my windows, we're gonna start out with a bit of Puzzle Rush. Let me just... yeah, that crop is looking the way it ought to. Muy buena. Here we go. And we're gonna have some back rank mates, it looks like. My all-time record is 40 on Puzzle Rush Survival. And we're gonna see if I can get close to that, equal it, or maybe even beat it again. Okay, it's another back rank mate situation. Okay, this king is stuck. Okay. And mate. This is mate, because the bishop is defending the queen, and the king has nowhere to go. Jaque mate. Okay, this king is once again well stuck. Knight is cutting off those squares. Okay, now we move into some more complicated stuff, but only a little. So if we go here, that's mate in 1, because the queen can just go here and that's mate. Pretty sure that's what we're doing, but let's just make sure there's nothing else going on here. Okay, so we've got this pin, which we've got a very excitable dog, which you may have heard. Okay. Now the question is,
Suena interesante, eso sí.
okay, so the question here is, how do I gift check it? Let me just make sure that is the question. Let me see, is there anything else going on here that matters? Okay, so knight here. King is attacked and cannot go here. Can't go here or here either because of this rook. So the king has to go here. Then rook here will be mate. Actually, I don't think it matters which of these. I think that's both of them. Okay. Got another king in bother. This pawn is hanging, and this pawn is all that's standing between this queen and the king. Okay, what do we have here? It looks like a nudging mate. We go here, king goes back, queen goes here, rook takes, my rook takes, and it's mate. A ver. Okay, a lot of stuff going on here. First of all, let's just see. This queen might be a little bit trapped. What? Okay, so what's going on here? So this queen is cut off from this square. It's cut off from this square. Can't just take the knight because the pawn takes, and that's not great for white. Right now, the only square available to the queen is this one, but if I go here, then I've cut that off as well, and I believe we have a trapped queen. Yeah. Okay. Now, if bishop takes, then we're forking both the queen and this rook with, so the bishop is attacking this rook and the rook is attacking the queen. Okay, my queen is now hanging. Okay. queen here, black's queen, defends this knight. So if I just take, then it's a queen trade, and if I play rook down here, taking the queen, then the king can just take it. So we have to nudge back the king. Now it's mate. Okay, we're up to 20. Get up to 20 fairly often, so it really gets exciting if I make it to 30. Okay, I think I'm winning material here. So queen takes the rook with tempo because it's defended by this bishop. White queen takes back. Bishop takes. Then I'm winning a queen and a rook for a queen and a bishop. Oh, plus... No, that's... No, there's nothing currently in a position to take this rook. But then there's also this. Okay. What have we got? One option is this pawn is hanging and then we're attacking this rook. Of course, the rook can just go here, then it's defended by the knight. And also that pawn isn't hanging, it's defended by this bishop, so we can leave that out of our calculation. Okay. Knight here is check. Queen can just take it. Then queen here would be mate. Well, it wouldn't be mate immediately, but... Okay, let me see. This pawn is attacked by both the queen and the knight. It's only defended by the king. So this should be mates. Okay. There are two checks to consider. This one blocks the rook, and that gives the king a potential escape route. This one looks more interesting, because the king can't go here, because the white king blocks those squares. And the rook is blocking off these squares, so I think the only move then is pawn here, and the bishop takes, and that's just mate. This looks like mate. Lots of black pieces attacking that pawn. Is anything defending it other than the king? Doesn't look like it. Okay, we're up to 25 with all 3 wickets in hand. Okay. If the knight takes there, then the pawn takes back. Queen can take the pawn, which threatens mate. Okay, let me see. Only moves to block mate at that point are bishop takes. I mean, not bishop takes, but bishop here. You just take that. And the other is pawn here, and then you can just take that en passant. Okay. We've got an immediate mating threat here. Because queen here is mate. So, whatever I do has to be check or it has to take the queen. So we've got 2 checks that we need to consider. One is queen here. If queen here, this rook can block, but there's also the option of king here, or king here, here, here. That looks fairly safe. On the other hand, the alternative is queen here, taking the pawn on f6 with check. Then queen takes, knight takes, king takes. We've prevented mate. But we haven't really won anything. But that was apparently the move. I don't see any other one. Okay. This king's in a bit of bother. If we go here, and then queen here, queen takes, and that is almost mate. King can still escape to here. Option B. Okay, that doesn't look great. So then the king can just go here. And yeah, we've achieved nothing then. Okay, let's see. Okay, king. This is just a queen trade, so we can just kind of forget that. In fact, we're losing material. We're trading a queen and a bishop for just a queen. And then Black's also got this bishop and rook in reserve, so we've achieved bugger all there. So, yeah, not doing that. So that kind of leaves the only real follow-up, I guess, is Queen A8. Queen A8. King's in check. This entire rank is completely blocked off, as is this square here and this square here. So the one square the king has is here, and then I guess queen here. Okay. This looks obvious. Hello, Erica, how you doing? Okay, that looks like just such an obvious win of material that at this point in the puzzle rush, I feel inclined to suspect it. Is there something better? Is there something good that is foreclosed by doing this? Okay, so what other captures, checks, takes have we got? So this bishop is looking here. The queen is here. So if we... Oh, well, the king's in check. We have to get the king out of check, obviously. So... Okay. King remains in check. Actually, this queen is also hanging. Ja, dazu ist die Arbeit ja da. Okay, that was... Whatever the move was, that wasn't it. We have... one wicket in hand on this first round of Puzzle Rush. Okay, this pawn is pinned. If it takes the bishop, then white can just take the rook. This king is not looking great, but I don't see any immediate danger to put it in. I don't see any good checks. I mean, like, this is taking the taking that pawn with the queen would be check, but it would also be suck because you're just trading a queen for a rook and a pawn. Oh, I'm not bad. Oh, kinds of interesting sorts of stress having to do with the wonderful moment in history we're living. On the other hand, I finally managed to get the background removal to work without a huge amount of flickering. Okay, so this king is kind of stuck. But how do I get... How do I make anything happen with that? Okay, so that's what happened. The king moved here because it's in check, and that was the only move. So we're trying to continue this mating attack. What happens... Okay. What happens if we sack this queen? So we sack this queen. It can be taken with one of two pawns, which already makes me skeptical. Because if it's taken with... Oh, but wait. Either one of these pawns opens a line for this bishop. Yeah, I think I'm sacking the queen. Yep. Okay. We've got this pawn is kind of a threat, but it's also a threat that's relatively easily dealt with. But of course, question is, I mean, Puzzle Rush is not generally about winning a pawn. That's not the kind of material you win in Puzzle Rush. So let me see. So that's one capture. We can capture that in a number of ways. Well, I mean, 2 is a number. Checks, we've got this, but then, oh, right, yeah. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We are winning material here. We're not winning that. Well, we are, I guess, eventually maybe winning that pawn. But first, queen here. Pawn blocks. Queen takes. Okay, we're on 29. Okay, this rook is hanging. One square for it. That puts the king in check. I feel like there's a mating attack here someplace. I'm not entirely certain where it is. I mean, I feel like this, I mean, moving this rook has to be part of it. So we move this rook. I mean, the other piece that can be readily brought into the attack would be this bishop. To do that, we would have to move this knight. The Inessa, I'm possibly, I'm in discussions about a possible book deal for the Inessa Armand translation. moving this knight solves all the problems. Protect your hanging rook and win the game with this weird trick. It will also cause Bernie to still be able to win. That's my Ben Feingold impression. Yeah, okay, so we move the... Okay, knight here, king's in check. Can't go here, can't go here. And it's also protecting the rook. Okay, 30. Okay, this looks like we're straightforwardly trading rooks first. Question becomes what we do after that. Okay, so rook here, rook takes. One of two pawns can take back. The question is which? I mean, I guess this king is well placed to block the advance of a rook pawn. But they're not going to be, I mean, this is not going to be a rook pawn. So, what I need to be able to do, okay, endgame calculating time. With one wicket in hand. Okay, so... Rook. Go here. My problem is that this passed pawn can just keep moving, so the king is not in Zugzwang. That being the case, okay, so here we go. We're this far. So, okay, this pawn takes, then this pawn advances. King here to defend this pawn. This pawn advances one more time. King here to permit this pawn to advance, and there's already a queen and I'm in check, and so that's a bad idea. That's one of those bad ideas. So pawn takes. Pawn advances. Pawn advances. Okay. It was the other pawn. So we're gonna play one more round of this. and then get into some rapid. Okay, straightforward back rank mate time. The key really in this is to try to save all your wickets until you really need them, and not fuck up early. In fact, just not fucking up at all is really the ideal way to play Puzzle Rush. If you don't fuck up, then you're really then you can win. I believe that is one of Ben Feingold's rules, and never fuck up. Okay, we got a free rook here. But we've also got this bishop is quite powerful. This queen is defended by this other bishop. Okay, this king is cut off here by the rook. This is gonna be mate. Okay. We've got a few options to continue this attack on the king, but only one will win. This one does not. You just lose a bishop. I think maybe you're still possibly in with a chance for mate, but it isn't the best move. Go here. Not there. Go here. Cutting off these squares. You're cutting off this square. You're cutting off this square. Got another king in trouble. Winning a rook. Mates. Okay, if I advance this, then the rook has to take, I think. What, that wasn't it? Fuck off, that wasn't it. Okay. This is a free rook. Have I got anything better? Really doesn't look like I do. Okay, this queen is pinned. Because my king is right there. So the only queen move really that is worth anything is queen takes, then that's just trading queens. Pawn takes back. I mean, what I'd really like to do to get into this attack is find a way to get my knight in there, but right now the knight has problems. Ah, shit. Only one wicket in hand, and we're very early on. Okay, we've got black to move. Anyone just joining us, we're playing some Puzzle Rush. Then we're going to play a little bit of Rapid, and thereafter we'll be looking at some surprising language learning resources. Okay, that's mates. That. Okay. Here, rook takes back, rook takes. And I've got 2 rooks for a queen. But is that what I want? What if the real 2 rooks for a queen? Oh, hang on. Hang on. This pawn is pinned. If I go here, that's check. These squares are cut off. This square is cut off. These pawns are cut off. The other thing about Puzzle Rush. You'll calculate something 4 moves deep, and it turns out all they really want is the first move from you. Okay, this is check. And this knight isn't really pinned because this. Well, no, that's not good though. You take the queen can take that rook, but it just gets taken back, so that isn't great. Okay. So let's say knight takes. pawn takes, I assume. Oh. Okay, so we've got a very powerful bishop here. And I'm winning a rook. Okay, so we've got a king in a bit of bother. Right now, it's not able to go to any of those three squares. Okay. That's mate unless I'm missing something. No, it's mate. It's mate with a lot of distraction thrown in. This is a free bishop. But is a free bishop all we want out of life? Okay, we've got this rook. It's also attacked. This would be check. Okay, hang on. Okay, so check. King here. Check. Bishop here, queen here with check. There we are. Okay, the real question here is, as far as I can tell, go this way, nor threatening the queen. Go this way, and it's check. got one wicket in hand, so we have to get this right or we don't advance. Right. I mean, it seems like either way this pawn is taking. Okay, looks like we're not breaking my record of 40 on this stream. We are going to play a little bit of Rapid. After that, there will be a bio break, and then we will be switching over to some language learning resources that may surprise you. Okay, that board isn't cropping well. There we go. So, Rapid, unrated. Okay, we're playing black against a 605 rated player. E3. Okay. Van de Kruis opening. A move to resign. Okay. I mean, let's check the analysis. Oh, well, I'd hit the wrong button there. Okay, so we've got a D4 opening. Doing a Grunfeld. The Feld is always Gruner. That's a threat, but not much of one. achieved very little. Although I did avoid a total peace hang. This knight isn't very well placed. Really, I ought to just go back to F3 for the moment. Actually, don't really mind that. Now I can get my bishops fianchettoed. Okay, the problem I'm currently facing is this fork. The rook can take either of these. Is there any way that I can defend both? Hello, River Rune, how you doing? So now, I've got this bishop defended, but this pawn is still hanging. And, yeah. Ah, not too bad. Okay, I have a great bishop here. There might be something to be said for it sacking for white sacking the exchange, and just to get rid of that bishop and deny me the bishop pair. There's a fork here. so this knight is hanging. Interesting. Okay, is anything being threatened there? Okay. Just to defend this pawn, because now, right now, if I move that bishop, the pawn hangs. I don't want the pawn to hang. And this way I can also kick the knight. Also opens a safe square for my king in the event of okay. Let's see what we're doing here. So this bishop, this rook is attacked. Now, okay, candidate moves. We could go here, threatening this with check. I mean, this is... in some kind of an endgame. Although it doesn't look like it, the king is defending this pawn here. Because the rook can't attack the pawn without getting taken by the king. This king isn't really threatening much because it's can't go to either of these squares. Okay, that's doable. The key right now is to protect this square. As long as I protect that square, I think I'm in the game. Also, I don't want to advance this pawn if I can help it. Okay. I've got to keep an eye on the clock. I've got 1 minute and 10 seconds, and my opponent here, Ignatius Jacques-Riley, has got a total of, well, 2 minutes. Okay. Oh, that forces a rook trade. Not great. This is looking kind of drawish. Okay. Somewhat less drawish now. Okay, there we go. GG's. That did not turn out quite how I was hoping it might. But I am going to take a little bio break, and I will be right back.
Hi, and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
還元一級の先というのは本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up, and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is skor, and that also means elephant.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, c'est ça, ça, che c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça, sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyperpolyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Night. Come on. Yen. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Baba, okay, Baba's is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo. Io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io.
I buy a computer or quack, and here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, quack sounds vaguely like Hogun and the hok in Hogun in Korean or Waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur, sa son chassé, ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
Der dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt. Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora, editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idiomas, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más. Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tritte tigre.
Okay, I'm back, and we're gonna change gears a little bit and look at some language learning resources that will surprise you. Also, Kikeme had an interesting... Actually, we'll play one more rapid, see if I can leave it on a somewhat more positive note than getting my ass kicked in an endgame. And then we're gonna look at some videos. I feel like I was winning for part of that. Okay. Playing in English, which is kind of what I always play.
this pawn right now is pinned. Okay, the center, I mean, this is a pretty strong bishop I have here. See if I can't fully activate this bishop pair. Okay, we've got another pinned pawn. This one cannot move or I'm winning a queen. This is kind of an attack, but it's not a great one because I end up winning a queen and a bishop for a rook and a pawn. Definite development advantage here. Have to watch out for this bishop, which right now is kind of undefended. Yeah, it's not a bad move. But okay, now I'm defending this. And actually, wait a second. Okay, one annoyance here is this pawn is sort of indirectly pinned at the moment. Queen is attacked. What is... okay. Okay, if I do this, the rook is attacked. No. Oh, yeah. And I can just... okay. The knight... oh, no, the knight can take, because right now this, bishop's defending the rook. Never mind. Okay.
rook is really kind of stuck, because this is mate. This isn't a threat because I can just take. Okay, that is a little bit better outcome. Let's just have a look at the analysis real quick. I'm not sure. I think that resignation was very premature, actually. But we'll see. Oh, wow. Okay, I had a brilliancy. Oh, right, yes. And yeah. That actually wasn't not a great move. Yeah. But on the other hand, I'm still up a piece, because even if the queen takes back, it's a queen and a knight against a queen and against just a queen. And although we've got the same number of pawns here, black's pawn structure is kind of ugly here on the king side, whereas mine is beautiful. Okay, so there had been a suggestion here. From KKMA that looked like it could be interesting. So I think we're gonna have a look at that. It features our all-time favorite demonstrators of how not to teach English. Kevin.
So I think we might just start out with that. Well, it should be interesting, could be educational, probably good for a laugh as well. Here we go. Let me get the chat widget full added here so that I can see it while we are watching this in full screen. This is from Improve Your English with Evelyn.
Hey guys.
And I need to get the volume up because I need to improve Evelyn's audibility.
Welcome back to my channel.
Here's a link to the full to the video that I'm gonna just drop in chat. Oh, that green screen makes a huge difference with the background removal. Not flickering at all.
So today's video is going to be a little bit controversial because in today's video I am going to discuss a channel that many of my viewers are familiar with. This channel is English for Everyone. The reason for this video is because I recently noticed that a video that I posted almost a year ago now has been receiving a lot of views recently.
I feel like maybe this is one that I reacted to on here.
In this video, I collaborated with Dave from Dave's English, and in this video, we discussed some of the critiques I received from English for Everyone. Now here's the really interesting thing. Even though I posted that video nearly a year ago now, it's still getting tons of views and many people are leaving comments. Thank you so much to the YouTube algorithm gods. I don't know why this video, out of all of my videos...
Because I can tell you, because English for Everyone have this combination of being hilariously pedagogically unsound and also remarkably petty. For anyone not familiar with English for Everyone, what they really like to do is just sort of nitpick the content of non-native speaking English language learning creators. Sometimes hilariously inaccurately.
Seems to be taking off, but I'm here for it, and I'm glad to see that many people are interested in the discussion that us English teachers are having here on YouTube. So in addition to the recent
low-hanging
popularity
fruit
of this
for the
video,
win.
Another reason why I've decided to record this video is that, as I correctly anticipated, I have been featured and critiqued in several of English for Everyone's videos.
This is not surprising because that is literally what they do. I love how, like, their fucking tagline in this is just constantly, "Stop learning nonsense." Which can be read more than one way. I mean, I guess they mean stop learning nonsense, but I mean, their whole channel is sort of learning related nonsense, and actually will provide a neat segue into the resources we're going to be looking at, because we're also going to be, as we're like dragging this for filth, dragging English for Everyone for filth, not Evelyn. I haven't watched a whole lot of Evelyn, but if she's critical of English for Everyone, that is already a reasonably good recommendation that she's probably more sound than their channel as a language learning content creator. But, so here we go.
In my last video, I said that I wouldn't respond to any future criticism unless Lisa is able to go live and speak freely without a script.
And I would like to challenge her to go live for 30 minutes on YouTube and to speak freely without a script. And then perhaps we can judge her English proficiency.
Now, Lisa has not responded to that challenge or that
I mean, I have to say, it's like that. I'm not all that keen on that sort of thing for the most part.
But yes, F drama. But in this case, considering that their whole thing is slagging off English language learning content creators in the most petty and, I have to say, entertaining way possible. Entertaining in the sense, not intentionally funny, more sort of a mop-in humor, just the sort of cringe, I think is the word I'm going for. In this case, I think it's reasonable, because if they're going to be like slagging off non-native speaking English learning content creators for sometimes trivial and other times totally non-existent mistakes, often when they're speaking off the cuff, not in like advice they're giving in how to use expressions and stuff like that, then I think it is entirely reasonable to demonstrate where, what one's own level is.
So I've decided to make this video for a handful of reasons. Before we go any further here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on alerts so that you can be notified about my new content. As always, thank you so much for your support. And now let's delve deeper into why I'm making this video. One of the biggest reasons why I've decided to make this video on English for Everyone is because they never credit me in any of their videos. They don't mention my name in the title, and they don't mention my name in the actual video. In contrast, they do name several of the other creators that they choose to.
I mean, and that's interesting, really. I find that very interesting, because they do name the other creators at the same time as they're slagging them off. I mean, I would think one of the reasons that you're doing this right in the name of the video is so that you can sort of slide into their search results if somebody's looking for like Rachel's English or English with Lucy or one of these others. So, I mean, it is a bit odd that they would be
to criticize. I believe that this is because I am one of the only creators, other than Dave from Dave's English and Chris Americos, who has chosen to respond to their criticism. Now, the word
I mean, that's a theory
on the street is that English for Everyone is not open to criticism.
Color me shocked. They seem so responsive. You can tell from how they varied their method from... My producers are telling me they have never varied their method.
They often moderate the discussion. They often do things like block users on YouTube and delete comments in which people oppose them. They probably...
What amazes me is they have a huge following. Like, it's not just that I think it's pedagogically unsound, because it really is at variance with what we know about language acquisition and the value of, like, calling out errors, which is negative, actually. Like, by the time there is some sort of value in saying, that's not actually what that means, I think you might be misusing that word, that is a time when somebody's already acquired the language. I mean, so, like, at the stages where anyone would possibly see any value in English for Anyone, it has no value because of the methods they're using. And the fact that they also are, like, aggressively unentertaining.
Don't mention me.
Like, the way they do it, I've been in elevators where the automated voice has more personality than their channel.
By name in their videos because they don't want their viewers to find out about my channel. In addition, my channel is a lot smaller than some of the other channels that they focus on, and they may think that it's just not worth their time to mention me.
They've got... Okay, I'm interested. I don't really actively follow them. Unlike Kevin's lookalike, Caleb Maupin. Which, for my other channel. But when you say they've gone way too far, what are they doing?
I am unfamiliar with this tea, and I would like to drink of it.
Another reason for this video is English for Everyone's authoritarian approach to correcting others.
Yes, that is a very good word for it.
They rarely admit their mistakes,
of which there are many. I mean, sometimes, when they're dragging other people's content, they actually seem to just make up mistakes without bothering to check whether they are actually wrong. Which, sometimes I will say, sometimes what they're saying is like legit a usage error or a mispronunciation. But a lot of the time, it's like a permissible, if less common variation. Another meaning that a word actually does have in the wild. Stuff like that. Or the sort of things we all do grammatically when we're speaking off the cuff, as I'm doing now, that have nothing to do with your mastery of the language. They have much more to do with our thought processes, our stream of consciousness. Like, for example, I switched pronouns and antecedents in the middle of that last sentence. Now, Kevin, if Kevin had any idea that I exist, it would be hilarious if Kevin decided to have a go. I would actually kind of enjoy that rap battle. But, he'd be like, we do not switch from, he doesn't say we do not. We cannot switch the antecedent from we to you in the middle of a sentence. And it's like, if I were writing this, if I were scripting this, I would totally fix that. But the thing is, we don't talk like that. People do this stuff all the time, and making English learners self-conscious about that kind of thing, which I think is the effect of a lot of what they do, is counterproductive, because that has nothing to do with your acquisition of the language. That has to do with how ordered and predictable your thought processes are as you're speaking into a microphone.
and they present themselves as the absolute authority on the English language. But here's the
truth.
truth.
They're not.
Everyone makes mistakes. No one is immune to that. As I mentioned in my previous video, the reason why
how have they gone too far? Now, can you find a video that's an example of this going too far? Maybe that'll be the next thing we look at.
Started critiquing other creators is because I found out that some creators were spreading misinformation to large audiences. The entire point...
what, on YouTube? Misinformation to large audiences? I would have to say, actually, the best strategy for growing your channel seems to be spreading misinformation to large audiences.
Of my mistakes videos was to help learners...
That's not to say that, just to be clear, that's not to say that there are, all large channels are full of shit. That's definitely not true. There are large channels that are totally legit. But it seems like it is a very viable strategy for the Facebook algorithm to just put out crap.
Recognize what was wrong with the type of content that they were engaging with. Now, as you guys might remember, I have a video about a creator named Giovanna, and this creator has gone viral. Many of her videos contain mistakes. Now, unfortunately, I'm beginning to realize that some of these...
I'm reading the thumbnails, and one of them says, screw the cap, and the next one says, with 4 balls, and it's like... Okay, those don't sound like mistakes to me. They do sound like some really weird things are happening to that bottle.
These mistakes might actually be intentional, because the algorithm tends to favor videos that people comment on, and people tend to comment on videos that have mistakes. One of the videos that
okay. It's funny that she brings this up, because I was just saying, chat, it seems like having bullshit misinformation is a really viable strategy to go viral on YouTube. And I hadn't really thought it very much through. I just know that there's so many large channels that are completely full of shit. But then what she just said, I think, is why. Because if all it is you get a huge number of comments and your video goes viral, then yeah, I mean, the easiest thing to do is make a really, really annoying mistake, and then your comments get lit up, and all of a sudden you're top of the search results.
I discussed was a video in which the creator taught the word potable. In my correction video, I explained that the word...
How did the auto-generated subtitles, which are otherwise fine, not get the word potable, instead replace it with the completely non-existent word pable?
Potable is not a common word.
Yeah, did it twice. Pable.
Is that the speaker is teaching the word potable. Potable is...
Why does it keep doing this? Look, pable. That's really weird. Why will the auto-generated subtitles systematically avoid saying potable correctly?
Not a common word. It is rarely used, and I actually had to look it up myself.
I mean, I would say it's actually more... It's not as uncommon as all that. It depends on what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, what the hell is pable?
After I watched this reel.
But you can go pretty far in life without ever actually hearing the word potable spoken.
So, it would be more common for a native English speaker to say, yes, the water is safe to drink, or the water is drinkable.
Yeah, totally. I mean, she's not wrong there. Or you just say you can drink the water.
English for Everyone responded to my video, and Lisa, who is not a native speaker, someone who is not born and raised in North America, very smugly claimed that the word potable is common.
I mean, I think it depends. Like, uncommon, there are levels of. And again, it depends on what circles you're in. I mean, if you're talking about, like, if you're in, like, humanitarian relief circles or something like that, or you're talking about, like, environmental things, then the word, like, potable comes up a lot, because you talk about potable water. And what the fuck is up with this light? I thought my lighting wasn't great. Like, it's like she's fading out into a singularity.
I have no idea why she didn't know the meaning of the word and why she had to look it up.
Because you can go through like, I think the first time I ever actually heard somebody say the word potable, native speaker here, born and raised over here in the US, I was like 25, I think. I mean, I'd seen the word potable written a lot of times. But the first time I ever heard it pronounced, I would have been in university.
It is common, and you will see it on signs.
Yeah, on signs.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
I mean, her example there says everything, actually. Because we say a lot, there are a lot of things that are on signs that you never actually hear somebody saying.
People might say that it's kind of problematic for a non-native speaker to be telling a native speaker what words are common and uncommon.
I mean, and I think, part of the problem here is that common, I mean, there's a lot of range of what you could mean by that. I mean, yes, it is something that you will see on signs sometimes. I can't remember the last time I saw a sign saying that. But I'm sure I have seen signs saying it. But if you mean common in the sense that we would normally use it, I mean, when we're talking about, like, common usage, we're talking about something that people are normally using in conversations. I mean, and that, potable isn't that. I mean, unless you're hanging out with a bunch of, like, sewerage engineers or, like, relief workers. Like, I mean, I bet if you're in, like, the UNRWA working trying to get aid and reconstruction organized in Gaza, for example, you would hear the word potable a lot, because potable water is a big issue there. In fact, I would say the word potable becomes more common in conversation the less common it is for water to meet that standard. And so somebody in North America could go a long time without ever hearing it used in everyday conversation.
I'm a native speaker. I was born and raised in Canada, and the intention of my video was to explain that the word potable is not...
I bet, and see, here's the thing. I mean, actually, speaking of Canada, I mean, if you go up to, like, Attawapiskat, the reserves up in northern Ontario, for example, I bet they say potable a lot more there, because potable water is a real problem there, because, like, the government refuses to make sure that they have, like, proper running water facilities and things like that. But I mean, if you're living in Toronto, you could go a long time without hearing potable, because, yeah, the water's potable. That's sort of a feature that can be mostly taken for granted.
Not a common word. It's not a word that you would say in casual conversation or in everyday context.
Keep it potable, eh?
In my video, I explained that it would be more useful for learners to learn the phrase safe to drink or drinkable.
Yeah, absolutely more common.
English for Everyone has done some other questionable things. In addition to saying that potable is an extremely...
Here it is again. What is it doing? Why are the subtitles doing this, YouTube? Why is it constantly saying pable?
Common word.
Actually, when I think about it, I have seen the word potable, the cognate word, the Spanish word potable, way more often, both in speech and on signs, than I've seen it in English. Because you go to Latin America, agua potable is actually a thing that you have to be a little bit concerned about, because the quality of the water is extremely variable in some places. Like in Santiago, I have to say, the water has this thickness to it that's a little bit weird.
Actually accused me of creating what's called a deep fake. And a deep fake is a type of video that has been manipulated using AI. And it's a video that presents someone saying something that they didn't actually say.
Wait a second, they accused her of making a deep fake? The temperature has just risen. That's wild.
Now, some of you guys have contacted me privately and you have told me that you support me and that you know that I haven't created a deep fake. As you guys know, I, of course, did not create a deep fake.
I want to know what the deep fake was supposed to be of them saying. And why would you need to do that? They say asinine things all the time.
That accusation is absolutely ridiculous. But I'm bringing this up to show you guys just how far this channel is willing to go in order to prove that everyone else around them is wrong and they are the only ones who are
the official Principal Skinner of the English as a foreign language community.
Right. Now,
Kevin and his steamed hams.
Here's the funny thing. I don't entirely disagree with Kevin's corrections. In many cases, I actually agree with him. My issue lies with how they present themselves as the sole experts on English.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say, it's like, leaving aside the generalized uselessness of error correction for language acquisition. I mean, yeah, when I've looked at their videos and reacted to them, I mean, they're not always wrong. They're always sort of ridiculous in the way that they do it, but they're not always wrong.
Dismissing everyone else as incorrect. Now, interestingly, despite their large subscriber count, and the last time I checked, they were around 400,000 subscribers.
Why?
Their videos get about 5,000 to 10,000 views on average, And I think this kind of suggests that their viewers may not find their content as engaging as before.
When was it ever engaging, though? It's not engaging. It's Kevin going, we cannot say, you don't say. You have to say, you do not say. Let's try it out. Do you say? That's right. You do not say. I mean, like it is not engaging. It is like the anti-engaging. It isn't even good like ASMR material. I'm guessing it. I mean, she didn't say, but I'm guessing I think we may look at that one next, because apparently it says beware of deepfakes in the thumbnail. Should be easy enough to track down. But I guess they were accusing her of making a deep fake of them saying something that they didn't say. Which, like, come on. Like, I mean, there are so many... If you were even going to do that, you could just edit people out of context. You don't need to go to the lengths of creating a fucking deep fake.
Post very frequently, almost every day. But
the algorithm loves that.
Videos are not getting a lot of views.
I will say, if I were getting 10,000 views, I would not consider that not a lot of views.
Their material is actually very repetitive, and some may argue that if you're only
that it's fucking boring?
Finding mistakes in other people's work, you may lack creativity. Is English for Everyone a one-trick pony?
No, because they haven't got a trick. If they ever were to get a trick, then they would be a one-trick pony. Right now, they are a pony commentator.
Are they only good at one thing? Pointing out other people's mistakes?
See, actually, this is good comprehensible English input for, like, English learners. I like how she throws in one-trick pony, immediately, without losing the flow, paraphrases it in a way that may be more obvious, and then for people who are much less conversant in English, then immediately goes on to be very concrete about what she's talking about. Actually, I mean, very good. This is good comprehensible input for English learners, I think.
Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, unlike my previous video, this video is not about defending myself or explaining why my corrections are correct. Instead, what I want to do in this video is to show how critique is a two-way street. Now, many of the creators that English for Everyone critiques choose not to respond.
Yeah, I mean, I can just see Kevin going, English for Everyone critiques? Are we going to are we going to make some content about collective nouns based on how, since it's two of them, they're a collectivity, and you could say English for Everyone critique? I mean...
For one of two reasons.
Some of these channels are because they're petty as hell.
That responding to the criticism may give more traction than it's worth.
Yeah, no, it's plus it's just much more fun to drag them for filth.
The second reason why some of these creators are not responding is because their mistakes are so glaring that they just don't want to draw attention to them.
Yeah.
With all of that being said, let's get to the main part of this video, where I am going to show clips from English for Everyone, where they either teach incorrect English or they go overboard with
God, she would have had such a fucking embarrassment of riches to go through here.
Their corrections.
That's like literally all their content. Either they're wrong, well, they're always overboard with their corrections. Cue image of Julian Bashir from Deep Space Nine. Even when they're wrong. Cue image of Garak. Especially when they're wrong.
Let's watch clip number 1.
This is how I do memes.
Take you a lot of effort to help that person.
I cannot say it didn't take you a lot of effort to help that person.
Yes, I mean, maybe you can't say it, but it's what normal English speaking people say.
I cannot use the word effort in this way.
Yes, you fucking can. Like, okay, that is wild. Is Kevin a non-native speaker with a actually very good accent? Or is he, like, deliberately fucking up? Because that is an extremely common expression.
It didn't take you a lot of effort. This does not work in English.
Yes, it really does.
We say you didn't make a lot of effort.
That's not wrong. I mean, grammatically, that's not wrong. I mean, actually, yes, it is. You wouldn't say you didn't make, I feel like you wouldn't normally say you didn't make a lot of effort. You would say more, didn't make much of an effort. But you're saying a very different thing. If I say that something didn't take a lot of effort, I'm saying it was not a difficult thing to do. If I say you didn't make much of an effort, I'm not necessarily saying that it's an easy or hard thing that you just did. I'm saying that you didn't try hard. Like for example, Kevin and Lisa didn't make much of an effort with their content. It is low effort content. It doesn't take a lot of effort
to help that person.
See, one of them is saying this is really easy to make because it's crap and the production values are low, and it's like has absolutely no entertainment value, except as like professionally dissected and dragged for filth. And the other is saying that they're lazy. Yes, he is incorrecting that phrase. And I really don't understand, like, how he could not know that what he's saying is totally wrong and makes no fucking sense.
Person. I cannot say it didn't take you effort.
Yes, you can.
Say you didn't make effort.
Different thing. Different thing.
Example. He didn't make a lot of effort to study.
Okay, chat, tell me, does that sound right to you? Does that sound like a normal way of saying that phrase? We got native English speakers here in chat, I think, mostly. That does not sound right to me. I mean, if you were specifically focusing on how much effort that this random he made for the purpose of studying. Where the fuck did I get stuffering? I don't know. But you would say he didn't make... Okay, if you were saying that he didn't make much of an effort to study, you are suggesting that he perhaps did not study. In the sense that it would have taken an effort to find the time to study and sit down and do the thing. If you say studying didn't take him much effort, you were saying that he did study and it wasn't hard for him. Like, this is... But you would not say he did not make a lot of effort to study. It just sounds weird. It just sounds awkward to me. Chat, tell me if I'm out of line.
I cannot say it didn't take him a lot of effort. He did.
Yes, you can. They mean different things.
Make a lot of effort. He didn't make a lot of effort to study.
In the first clip, Kevin critiques Marina, who, by the way, does make a lot of mistakes. And Kevin...
Yeah, although, again, most of her mistakes are off-the-cuff speaking type mistakes. And... not, like, most of the mistakes that they go after her for are things that she says, well, speaking off the cuff, not necessarily with a script, not specifically things she tells people to say or not to say.
And says, it took you a lot of effort is wrong. He insists that you should say, I made a lot of effort. He even marks the...
I mean, a lot of effort, there's just something about a lot of effort that sounds awkward in this particular context.
Phrase "it took a lot of effort" as incorrect on the screen. Here's the reality.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I say, making aglio e olio doesn't take a lot of effort, I mean, that all you're doing, you have to chop up garlic, you have to saute it. I mean, they're not a huge numbering of ingredients. The food prep is minimal. If I'm saying you didn't make a lot of effort, it sounds like you didn't try hard to make it good.
Effort and take effort are both correct.
Yeah.
But their structures are different.
I mean, usually when we talk about making effort, we're making an effort.
Makes effort and something takes effort. Additionally, you can use an object when using take, as in, it takes somebody a lot of effort.
Yeah, I mean, what's more common, I think, she's not wrong here, but I think what's more common, we talk about an effort. It took a real effort. It didn't take him much of an effort to do it. It was, this wasn't much of an effort. I didn't make much of an effort. That sort of thing.
All of these structures are correct. To back this up, I'll show you guys clips from native speakers using these structures.
Adding a lot of running time, it took me a lot of effort to copy those additional numbers. Now, granted, it's a smaller...
I had to stretch. It takes me a lot of effort to get that first rabbit. And so
program and teaching them, whatever it is that they want me to teach. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. So it takes me upfront effort to go through slides, to create the slides, and to really perfect the presentation.
It is absolutely trivial to find examples of native English speakers using these structures.
Let's watch clip number 2.
Massive influx of weaponry, a lot of weaponry.
Weaponry. The exact opposite of an olive tree. So it's an olive tree, but AK-47s grow on it.
Coming into Ukraine from other countries.
This is not correct. The word is weaponry, not weaponry.
I mean, not wrong. You would understand what she meant, but it sounds kind of goofy.
There is no word weaponry.
In this clip, Kevin correctly points out that Jennifer mispronounced weaponry as weaponry. However, the phrase that he uses to correct Jennifer is poorly constructed.
Now we're really filth dragging.
There is no word weaponry.
I mean, you can say that, in fairness, but you'd be more likely to say the word weaponry doesn't exist, or there's no such word as weaponry, or weaponry is not a word. Except now that I've come up with the idea of a tree with AK-47s growing off of it, I have made weaponry a word but in a different spelling.
He says there's no word weaponry. A more accurate correction would be there's no such word as weaponry in English.
Yeah, you can say that too.
The word weaponry doesn't exist in English. You might think that this is nitpicking.
You don't have to say in English either. I mean, you could just say the word weaponry doesn't exist. And it's just implied that you're speaking about English. Or you're making a general statement, which may be wrong, that there is no language in the world that has a word weaponry with any meaning.
But this is exactly the type of correction that Kevin often makes of others. For instance, he once critiqued a sentence that I used. I said, these changes have been announced at the end of August 2024.
So these changes have been announced at the end of August 2024.
Lisa, or rather Kevin, because he's the one who writes the scripts, critiqued my use of present perfect tense.
I mean, and I have to say, it is a little bit awkward. It is a little bit awkward, but I mean, it is, if I were writing that sentence, I would not have said that. I would have said were announced. But within, within the context of native speaking, off the cuff, which I'm sure that was, yeah, I mean, people do that all the time. They start with they start in present perfect, or they start some other tense. Well, I mean, really, we're talking about aspect more than tense, but let's not get into that. And then by the end of the sentence, they realize they actually needed a different tense, because they're adding information that is kind of awkward with the tense that they started out with. I mean, that's not something to jump on somebody for. Like, if somebody did that in an essay, I would be like, yeah, or something as an editor. Somebody sent me something and it included that sentence, I would say, yeah, this would be better with were. But, like, if this is what you're, like, filth dragging somebody for, like, why? That's bullshit.
With a past time expression.
It's not correct to say, these changes have been announced at the end of August 2024.
Like, I mean, what's with the smile there? Like, she's fucking grinning as she makes this correction. Like, that just reads odd.
With a specific time in the past, we cannot use the present perfect tense. With a specific time in the past, we have to use the past simple tense.
And I mean, let me give you an example where it's correct. Where you could actually say the thing she said and it would be totally normal. These changes have been announced, implied comma, in August 2024, in December 2023, and various other times. If I do that, then it's just totally right. Yeah, she's saying the exact same words as Kevin.
The issue is, natives...
Like, can she say... I mean, I can see, actually, because she is so rigid. I mean... I can see why it would be reasonable, since she is, like, smugly correcting the English of people who, like, kind of definitionally will have more of an instinct for it than she's likely to have. I can see why you would ask for her to speak some extemporaneous English, and honestly, I'd be interested in seeing Kevin speak extemporaneously in English as well, because everything in their videos is so rigid and scripted, and it is never, like, challenging. There is, like, nothing in it where there's, like, the slightest bit of linguistic creativity. Even in areas where linguistic creativity is valuable, like example sentences, usage examples, and stuff like that. I mean, one way to get people engaged if you're teaching a language, if you're, like, helping somebody learn a language, is to come up with wild examples. Weird shit. Because that's memorable. Because it's fun. Because it gets people engaged. Their examples are the laziest shit ever.
Speakers, like myself, often use these instructions in casual, everyday conversation.
Absolutely.
And they don't sound wrong to most speakers.
Have things like next week, the NFL draft is coming up. It's been announced now in mid-May. Our schedule will be released, and then we'll have a little bit
Yeah, I mean, and see, I can tell you exactly how that happened. It's been announced, then he thinks, okay, he wants to add when it was announced, because it seems it makes more sense to include that. And then he corrects himself and says, scheduled to be released is a more accurate way of saying it. Oh, fuck. I'm still here. The camera's still here. I sort of was trying to adjust my my position in my chair, and I sort of pushed the screen forward, and that caused the camera to do a little dive, but fortunately not fall off or disconnect.
time off for players and training camp begin.
Presiding Officer, I want to conclude with a basic point. The measures that have been announced in recent days, from the school closures last week to last night's lockdown.
I mean, and here this is a slightly different, this is actually a good example because it's plural. They have been announced in recent days because it isn't necessarily that they were all announced once. Or they were all, they were not all necessarily announced at one specific time.
Are really, really difficult.
Those almost always, historically, have been undertaken or been announced in December right before the holiday.
I mean, and there, what's going on is it's more than one December. They have historically been announced in December. Meaning that it's not, in different years, they have historically been announced in this part of the year.
This is different from the types of mistakes that ESL speakers tend to make, like, I have gone to Italy last month, which is clearly a grammatical mistake.
Well, and again, it depends. Let's say somebody asks you, because one of the things that happens is one of the things we do in speech is we tend to do a little bit of, grammatical mirroring. Somebody says, have you ever been to Italy? And you say, I have been to Italy, comma, last week, couple years ago, slightly before the Borgia assassinations, and then, it's grammatical mirror, so, yeah.
Let's keep going and watch clip number 3.
This is also not correct.
I'm very tired. I'm dead.
Basic English, I'm very tired. And advanced English, I'm dead?
Yeah. Yes, Kevin.
People don't say I'm dead when they're very tired.
Yes, they fucking do.
This is not correct.
Yes, it is.
In this clip, Kevin corrected Nab for using the phrase, I'm dead, to mean I'm very tired. Kevin argued that this usage was incorrect, and he claimed that nobody uses it. But here's the thing, you guys. I'm dead is actually an extremely common English idiom.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the sort of thing that makes me wonder, is Kevin, Kevin sounds like a native English speaker in terms of his pronunciation. He sounds North American. But he also speaks very rigidly, and he gets these basic things wrong.
You'll find it in many dictionaries, and many native speakers use it in casual conversations. Check out all of these dictionaries that include the phrase.
Yeah.
The truth is, contrary to what Kevin said, I'm dead can mean I'm very tired.
Yeah, it can mean a number of other things, idiomatically, too. I'm dead can mean that, I did something that has gotten me in really big trouble. Somebody's gonna, or something like that. But, yeah, I mean, you can use it to mean very tired, exhausted.
Not a mistake. This video demonstrates that English for Everyone, who is so quick to criticize others, can go too far with their...
See, I would say who are, collective noun, but that's also, my English has so many regional influences. The collective is our thing is much less common, in North America, I have to say, in my experience, than it is in, Britain, Australia, a number of other parts of the Anglosphere.
Corrections, and... as I hope I've demonstrated, they can get things wrong.
They're very good at getting things wrong.
Let's watch the fourth and final clip where Lisa mispronounces unbearable as inbearable.
Excruciating. We use this word to describe pain. When pain is really bad, it's intense, it's unbearable.
Now, this isn't...
That sounded... Okay, let me listen to that again, because I feel like it sounded like unbearable.
Really bad. It's intense. It's unbearable.
Yeah, that sounded like unbearable to me.
Now, this isn't just a slip of the tongue. It's very clear that she does not know the correct pronunciation. The word unbearable begins with the sound.
My students were writing about their crushing anxiety, the unbearable pressure on them to succeed.
It's unbearable to go through my weeks this way.
Where the pressure was a little bit unbearable.
How is it that we live with our losses? How do we bear the unbearable?
Not the or...
I mean, it did not sound like the to me. What interview would that have been? Now I'm curious.
Sound.
It's unbearable.
You might think I'm being too harsh.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, I actually kind of do. She's not... I mean, I know what her sounds like. That is not her sound. It is not quite a standard issue North American sound either, but it is definitely more on the page, more closer to than it.
But this is exactly the type of critique that Kevin often makes of non-native speakers' pronunciation. They should ensure that all of their pronunciations are accurate too. So that's it for today's video.
Okay, that was very interesting. Thank you, Giga M. It is time for me to wrap this up and look into doing some eating of things. At me, Kevin. Go ahead, come at me. We do not say do an eating of things. Come on, you know you want to. I will be back tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and I look forward to seeing you then. Have a good evening.